Hello everybody, welcome back to Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and we just got finished eating dinner, and we're going to head out to the shop here and see what we got going on. Started off my morning a little upset. The guy I was supposed to get the deck from for this John Deere tractor, seems like every time he gets money in his pocket, the next day he's sick, or the next couple of days he's sick. Well, don't that kind of tell you that what you're doing with your money might be what the problem is? So, I've been trying to get him to get me this deck, and he had 3 of them sitting down there. The one that he had sitting on his trailer was pretty rough shape. Well, I just got tired of waiting on him to feel better, and I just went down there and got the one off the trailer that was rotted. And I ended up having to buy more parts for this mower because he's dragging his feet. So I want to get this thing done. You know, my grass is not going to stop growing, and I don't trust that other mower. Yes, I got it fixed, but you know, I got the new carburetor on it, but I haven't tested it yet. So I really don't want to waste the gas mowing now because it don't really need mowed because it was just mowed. But anyway, I went up and got that deck, and I found a bunch of problems with it. I had to order new spindles because the bolts broke out in them. Yeah, I drilled one of them out and took the ring off of the one side of the bearing, because when you use that grease fitting, you're not actually putting any bearing grease in any bearings because they're both sealed bearings. So it was pointless to put a damn grease fitting on it. You only put a grease fitting on something if it's got a open bearing. So they just put the grease fitting in it and put a sealed bearing in it. Well, where the hell's the grease going to go? Back to the grease gun. So I took the centers out of them, but the other one, the nut was messed up on it. So I just said to hell with it, just to order another set and be done with it and dig myself out of the hole later. But here's what we got. This deck, get out of here, bee. Sorry, I think I was getting ready to use you for a fly swatter. You get to see his asshole hit the damn screen. But anyway, I got this up here, and this here was all busted, and they had welded. All this that I had ground out was welded all the way around that spindle. So I had to get the spindle out of it, and I was able to get my shape back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape all this paint off of it, and I'm going to wire wheel it with the big grinder, and we're going to get this thing down to bare metal, and we're going to start from scratch, and we're going to paint this thing black and not yellow. But they welded here, so apparently this bracket broke off. I don't know what these guys was mowing to cause all that kind of damage, but you know, that's a clear sign that somebody's hit this thing pretty hard. So, but it's in really rough shape, so I have to start from scratch because I can't get nobody to finish their deals. You know, he got his money, he's happy. I haven't got all my parts. So what does that make me, guys? Unhappy. But right now, what we're doing is I went and measured right here. And this opening is 6 inches. But there's a step up here that goes into the circle, 2 of them. So I just basically flattened that off on that side and that side on my plates that I'm making. I've got them in the mill right now. I'm waiting for it to cool down because it's getting a little too hot and throwing sparks, and I've got oil everywhere. This thing's just made a hell of a mess, and I didn't clean my bench off, so if I'd have known it was going to make that kind of mess, I would have cleaned the bench off and got it ready. But I've got 2 of them sandwiched together, and I ground them both the same. It's got a flat side here, a flat side there, and right now I'm doing the center for the hubs for the blade, and then we're going to weld these in because I've already got my bolt pattern, and now I'm just milling out with a boring bar. I've got another 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch to go, not quite a quarter, but it's a long drag out process to mill that out. Plus, the further you get out with this, the more this thing vibrates. So I'm getting to the point where it's getting a little rough to cut, so I have to start taking smaller cuts because the thing's so out of balance. So I'm just creeping up on it, and I'll get her done sometime tonight. But those plates will be welded right here on the top. You don't want to do it on the bottom because then that's going to change your the height of your blade. Not by enough to really worry about, but just to keep politically correct, I'll just weld them to the top here. That way I can just do a weld every 2 or 3 inches, or 2 inches apart. I don't want to weld all the way around it because once that stuff gets hot, this stuff's easy to go through. It's thin metal, so you don't want to really go crazy welding all the way around it. I just want to put about a 3/4 inch bead, and then another one 2 inch apart from it, another one, another one, another one, and then we'll do the flats. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to plate that. Well, then one of these springs here is broke. In fact, this one is the broken one. This ear right here is supposed to come on out here and have a L or a Z bend in it. So what that does is go around these brake pads to push them into the blade when you have it disengaged. So the brakes look a little rough. But they're usable. Yep, they're usable. Hell, most decks don't even have that. I'm thinking I can salvage these blades. They look somewhat okay. They need some serious sharpening. Well, I don't know, man. I think these blades are out of balance. Oh, man. This blade is rounded. This one's square. That tells me right away that this side's got more weight on it than this side. So I'm going to have to see if I can't get some blades, I guess. Daggone it. I might have a set here somewhere. Seems like I had a spare set for mine, and I believe it takes the same blade. It's 42 inch cut. Both of them are 42 inch, so I would imagine they probably take the same blades. because I remember, I think mine's got the star in the middle of them too, so it might be the same blades. But we're going to try to clean this thing up, and I got one more thing to get for it, and I think I have one, and that's a spring. I got a shitload of springs that should work. So I'll just have to get all the parts and let him keep them. If they're that important for him to keep them, you know, let him have it. I'd rather just go on and get the new parts and put on it and be done with it. And in the end, I'll have a better deck. So that is 1/8 inch steel. That's only about a 1/16 of an inch steel. So we're going to have 3/16 of an inch, or no. See, 1/16 and an 1/8, that would be 5/16. Yeah, so you have 5/16 thickness of metal there for that blade or the spindle to ride on. I was able to rebuild this one. I haven't put any grease in it yet because I opened the cages so that the grease will go into it. So it sounds kind of dry. So this one was good, but I got the whole set for $40. So I was going to try to use them spindles I just rebuilt here a while back for the Husky, because they belong to the Husky. So I was hoping that they were the same, but they're not. The bolt pattern is longer on them. So I ended up having to buy another. At least I got a spare. The other one, somehow the threads got screwed up on it. If I can find it. It's probably right in front of me. Well, I can't find it. That's what happens when I put something down in this shop. I don't never see it again. And that's partially my fault. Well, probably all my fault. Because I get too cluttered, man. I get to the point where I've got so many projects going on and I end up with tools everywhere for 2 or 3 different things. So, but I can't find that pulley. I was going to show you what had happened to it. But anyway, wanted to go over these blades. When you got a rounded area right here, and this one's square, that definitely means there's more material on this side. So I would imagine that blade is not balanced. So I wouldn't use that blade. Yes, you can balance them, but half the blade pretty much missing. So I'll have to get another set. But when you see a blade like that, stay away from it, guys. Yeah, they're straight, but them ends are messed up. Anyway, so I went and got another switch for it. So now I got a key and a switch, and that was a sense to put in there. You just push those pins in there and it pops up, and you put a new one on it, pop it back down in there. So now I got to find some headlights. I'm hoping I can find a set. I think I have a set here, but I'm not sure if the Statesman that I took apart when I made my pellet trap trailer, I think it had headlights in it. I'm pretty sure it did. So, and I think they were the same style. So hopefully I got that on the wiring harness that's here somewhere. And when I say somewhere, I mean it could be anywhere. And then this frame that I just took, I was going to take this rear end here and put it on this John Deere, but it's set up so different that it's not going to work. So I cleaned it up last night and got it nice and purty. And it's got the shifter rod on it that I'm going to figure out how to use that. And I think I'm going to build another trailer, but I got to get a set of wheels for it. But I'm thinking about building a flatbed trailer out of that frame, because I've already painted the frame, cleaned it up and painted it. And all I need is a set of wheels and a tongue. And I've got the tongue right there. That one there is the exact length of my bench. It goes all the way up to my toolbox, so it's a pretty long piece. So that's my tongue. So we're getting there, guys. This is busted, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to straighten that up. And yes, I'm afraid that there's probably going to be some tread aluminum or some kind of aluminum in this job. Because I could take and make a piece of aluminum that will go all the way across here, all the way down here, straight across, and make it even all the way around. And just cut that contour right there after I get it bent over, and pop rivet that to this. And that will fix that right there. Now when I go to put the aluminum on it, I may have to use something like a liquid nail or something like that, some kind of glue, just to, I don't think you can weld that. I've seen people do plastic weld, but there's such stress on that pulling it apart that it would never hold. A lot of people will take a soldering iron and just weave that, and make circles in it, in that crack, and weld that back on there. My finger's just locked up. And he's got all the parts up there I need, so I don't have to go buy that. But dealing with him, I just can't do it no more. I'm just tired of dealing with people that can't finish their deals. So I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to fix that. I don't see any reason why a piece of aluminum won't fix that. We can go right down in this corner right here and go straight across. And make that work. Hell, for that matter, I could probably make the whole damn thing. Make one out of aluminum. Because this here I can make the hinge. I don't know, that's getting a little crazy. I'll probably just patch that. I don't think I got a piece of aluminum that big. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got going on. So now we're just waiting on parts. Got to get my parts in, and see if we can't make this a nice mower. I really would rather it have the yellow deck because it is the John Deere yellow, but I can't afford that John Deere yellow, and any yellow you get's never going to match. It's going to look awful. So I'm just going to paint it black. I've got a nice black And I'll show you how that black, well, that black right there. That color right there. And that looks good. So that's what color I'm going to make the deck. It's got enough yellow on it. Wheels are yellow. So we'll make it black. And had a heck of a time finding them springs. I ended up having to call the John Deere dealership to find out what the part number was so I could find it on eBay. Because I didn't know what it was called. They're calling it a torsion spring. Torsion. Don't look like a torsion. Unless I don't know what a torsion is. Anyway, don't forget to have your truck coffee, guys. Enjoy your day. You guys have a good one. Later.